Thank you for joining me. I'm Trish. Thank you for purchasing your Connections Oracle, which is your oracle used for romance, relationships, and mediumship. I'm going to do a spread and I'm going to describe what I'm doing as I'm reading the cards to help you get a better connection with your deck. So in the pack, come with this deck is the 80 card pack. Also a little card holder, which we'll use today, and the reading mat here. Now the reading mat comes with layouts for 3 types of readings. So you've got your general spread layouts, your relationship layouts, and your mediumship layouts. And you just follow through the color for whatever type of reading that you're doing. Now you don't have to use a reading mat to do your readings, but it does help sometimes, especially with the mediumship readings. So today we're going to just do a reading and see what comes through. Okay, so first of all, I want to pull a card for the stand, and I want to show you how to connect back to that card. So first of all, let's give me a card to focus our reading around today. Okay, so the card that we're pulling today is all about desiring love or feeling lonely. So we're going to use that card to tap back in, and we're going to keep referring to it as we're doing the readings. Okay, this is a timeless reading. So this is a reading of, if it's landed on your feed, then this message may be for you. But it's also being used to show how I read. Okay, so what I'm doing now is doubling up the cards. Okay, I hope this message finds the person that it's meant for, or that the people watching get some kind of answers out of this message. For others, I hope that you get the answers being how to read a lot stronger and how to connect in with your deck that you've recently purchased. Okay, so what I'm seeing for you is that I'm seeing somebody that you're committed to, because we've got the commitment card here. So what I'm doing is I'm scanning to see which cards tell a story and which cards connect to each other. So I'm seeing a card of commitment. So that's telling me that you're perhaps with a committed partner, or this has involved a committed relationship that you've had in the past. So when you're reading, there's no, you don't have to say it directly, this is you, because that puts off a sense that you're right all the time and that person's wrong. So what it is, and generally the cards don't really work like that. They give you a broader sense of what's going on around, and you're just kind of tapping into those energies. Now, those energies could relate to the person, they could be related to the person around them, or they could be related to, now I'm also getting here that when you're reading, you tap into a lot of your own experiences to bring a message through, but sometimes they're going through something you've never been through before. So in that case, you're kind of just tapping around the outside of it because you've never been in that situation before. So you're kind of picking up on things that you had no experience in or how to deal with, and that's why the messages are coming in a round way, because it cannot pinpoint, because you haven't been in that situation before. Of course, the messages are very clear on the cards. They say what they say, and if you trust fully, and sometimes I do, I just completely just trust the cards, and I will just read out what the cards are, and I just know that the cards come out, you see them jump out when I'm shuffling, and I trust the cards so much that I know that whatever they're saying is a good enough reading in itself. I don't have to, if I'm not feeling well, like today, for instance, I have a headache. So I know that even if I don't tap in deeply and pull messages through, that I know I trust the cards enough that they can give a balanced, meaningful message just by what the words and the pictures are on the cards. So what these cards are saying, and that's what I'm going to do in this instance, I'm going to read for you in a way that just engages the cards and not tapping in. So, and that this would be a really valuable reading or a valuable lesson for those of you that haven't quite tapped into a strong sense of intuition. So you perhaps you don't hear things yet, or you don't see things, you don't feel things yet. So you're still at a very basic beginner's level, and this is a way of showing you that the cards really do read accurately without even tapping in on an intuitive level. So you can just, as a beginner, come in and start reading these cards and have faith and trust and know that these cards are delivering the message without you having to tap in if you don't feel comfortable doing that. Now, once again, I'll stress that when you are doing any kind of spirit work, you do need to do your protection. So first and foremost, you need to ask for your white light of love and protection to surround you. You need to call in your spirit team, and you need to ask them to protect and guide you through the process. No matter what you're doing, even if you're not tapping in and you're just reading off the cards, you do need to make sure that you're protected by white light of love and protection. I always put it around myself. I fill the room with it, and I surround my house with it. So it's just a protection because you don't know what's out there. And if you're going in on a negative vibration, you could be attracting negative things, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so just reading off the cards and delivering a message from the cards, I'm feeling that there's somebody that's either in a committed relationship. They've given their heart to that person that says, my heart is yours. So they're therefore perhaps a married couple because they've committed themselves to each other and they've given over their heart. However, I feel like from this, there is a sense of feeling loneliness on one side. One person feels very lonely within the relationship, and it could be because you feel someone's very independent, so they're not perhaps engaged in the relationship as much as what you'd like them to be, and it's a sense of they think about themselves. They're very independent, and they just only think about themselves. They don't think about your feelings, because I'm also seeing here violent attack is on the cards, as well as a deep hurt and a heartbreak. So that to me is telling me that there's, within a relationship that's committed, you've made your vows, you've committed your hearts to each other, there's still a sense of loneliness, and there's a sense of a person that's very selfish and they don't look after your own feelings. Because I'm reading this straight from the cards, because there's and they could be a little aggressive in the way they speak, or there's some kind of aggressive attack that and you feel very fractured. Your connection is very fractured from that. It's a heartbroken is when I mean fractured. It's heartbroken. It's not separation, but it's a heartbroken and a feeling of you've committed to this, but you know that person's not in it, or perhaps they're in it the best way that they can be. Perhaps they, in their own upbringing, that's what they know is love, and it's not what you signed up for. You didn't realize that's what you were going into, but you're starting to open your eyes and see that this person perhaps is a little bit selfish, or they don't know any other way. You're not getting your needs met, is what it's saying. You're feeling lonely within a committed relationship. Now, I've read these purely just from the cards. I haven't tapped in, I haven't heard anything. I'm reading them purely from the cards to get the message through. Now, there's some energy here of perhaps the male's older than you. I've got the older male down here. The male might be a little older than you. Sorry, I was tapping in there. So I'm going to purely just read this from the cards. Now it's saying, okay, on yes, one hand over here, it says that yes, go all in. On the other hand, it says this is the end. Goodbye. So, and this is the last cards of the spread. Now, what I'm feeling from this, or what the cards are saying from this, is that it could be that if you're feeling like it's the end of the relationship, then yes, you are right, because these two cards are falling out together. So it's something coming to an end. If that's what's on your mind, because you can see the big flower on her mind, then yes, that is the case for you. If you're getting that strong sense yourself that you need to end the relationship, or you need to end something about the relationship, perhaps the way you're being treated, then the message to that is yes. You will see favourable results for that, and you will start to see a more of a blissful life. You'll find more bliss, because I feel like you're not getting the bliss that you need at the moment. And you can hear when I say feel, it's me tapping in. So from the cards, it's saying that a sense of blissfulness and a favorable outcome will come when you trust your instincts and go through with whatever it is that you're thinking about, whether that's speaking up or standing up or walking away or whatever it is you're feeling is the right thing to do to deal with this, or just communicating, get a better sense of communication, getting a therapist or something to help the relationship, then that's what you need to do. Now over here it says that you are my world. Now what I'm getting from that is because we've got the card of I love you and a committed, mated relationship, mated for life, so a commitment for life. I love you and you are my home, you are my world. It's telling me that your world is very, very much tied in with their world. So you're very connected, whether that's by assets or finances or, you know, basically your whole life. You rely on this person. Your life is intertwined with their life. And it feels like, well, the cards are saying that there's a connection here that is entangled together. You're committed to each other. There's a deep love here, but there also is a sense of loneliness and not getting your needs met here. But it's saying that you're very much entangled in each other's lives, and therefore it would be very difficult to separate these. Now, the cards are not in any way indicating that that's what you need to do. What they are saying is that if you feel that's what you need to do, then yes, you need to do that. But if you feel like you need to communicate with each other, then yes, you need to do that. It's not giving you a direct answer saying, enter this relationship. And because we're reading here for a timeless reading for anyone that falls upon, then it is going to be different for everybody. So some people may come in and think, well, I'm thinking I'd like to, you know, I should express myself to this person. I should share how I feel. Then that's what you need to do. For others, it feels like if they've had enough, then they need to walk away. That's what they're thinking. Yes, that's what they need to do. Whatever it is they're thinking that you need to do in this relationship, then yes, you need to do that, because that's going to give a favorable result for you personally. It's going to help you not feel so lonely. See how I'm bringing back in this card again? It's going to help you feel more blissful in your life. You're going to get more enjoyment out of your life, because not only am I seeing you're feeling lonely, you're feeling your heart's been broken. You're feeling a sense of, you know, you're not getting fulfilled emotionally from this relationship. I also feel like you're also not finding bliss and joy in your life, because it's very entwined and very entangled in this relationship. So this relationship plays a very big part of your life, and if you're not happy in this relationship, you're not happy in your life. And that's what the cards here are saying, that by doing whatever it is you're thinking about doing is going to help you have a better life, a more blissful life, a more fun life, a more enjoyable life. So that's how I would read this card, and I've doubled up on the cards here to show you that you don't just have to read one card per little part underneath. You can read the two cards together. So you just read each segment by two cards together. So it's a way of putting sentences together and reading this part as a sentence, and then it joins over to other parts. But you can even put three and just read this separately. This part of your life is blah, 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 and you've got three cards that you're putting together in a sentence. So we might try that in a few weeks' time. We might build our skills a little bit more. Now, I'm going to do a couple of those quick reads, and I want you to practice that with your cards as well. So grab your cards. You don't need a map for this. We're just going to read. We're going to do our little practice again with our 3-card reads. Those of you that are coming in on this message from your feed, then I hope that you find a message from these quick reads. For those of you who have purchased the deck and are practicing along with me, we just need to shuffle, and we're just pulling 3 cards, and we're going to read them as a sentence. So instead of me running through what each card means, I'm going to be doing this to show you how to read them in a sentence instead of focusing on them as a single card reading. Okay, we've got one. I'm going to go with that one over there because that looks like a set of 3. We'll read that second. That's our second 3. So this is we're going to do 3 sets of 3. Actually, we might get our third set here as well. Okay, and I'm going to pull, because you can do this as well, you don't have to let them jump. I'm going to pull the cards that are sticking out there. 1, 2, and 3. And that will be our third read. Okay, first read. Okay, we're reading these as a sentence. Now, I feel there is a new love coming in for you. It's a soulmate relationship. It's a meant to be relationship. So it's not like you have to go out and find it. It's a relationship that's going to find its way to you because it's a meant to be thing. It's a soulmate relationship. Perhaps it could be somebody from the past. We've got the reminisce card here. So it could even be somebody that you've met before. You could be rekindling. You could be coming together. And this could be perhaps it's somebody that you've known, but not in a relationship way, not in a romantic way. And this could be a reconnection or a kind of coming together in an actual relationship. Because what I'm seeing from these cards is soulmates. A soulmate's indicating that it's a relationship coming for you. Love is in the air. There's a relationship coming around you, and it is a new love. It could be somebody from the past because we've got the reminisce card, which is a past card. It's like the Six of Cups. So over here it's saying also lost without you. It's a sense that you're going to be so connected to them that you'll feel like, where was your life before them? It's like you would feel lost without them. Now, as a medium card, now when we do the medium reads, I would suggest using your mat because that shows you, it asks you to do male or female, then it asks you to do how they passed, also some important dates, and then messages for you. So it gives you guidance on why you're actually asking the card. So when you're doing a medium reading, I would suggest that you use your mat. Otherwise, you can just do it by shuffling and saying, are you male or female? Tuning into what they're hearing. So as we do the mediums, we'll get deeper and deeper with our intuition, and we'll practice those ones as we go. But for now, we're just going to focus on the relationship reads. But if this was a medium read, I would read the bottom line, and that says that this is new for you. That would be somebody that's passed over on the other side, and they're acknowledging that this feeling is new for you. There's new feeling of loss or grief is new for you, something you haven't dealt with before, you experienced before. Now, the reason I'm reading these is because instead of going through the individual cards one by one and telling you how to read each card, I'm showing you how to read in sentences. Now, you could also get here like soulmate. Either way, whether this is a relationship, romantic partnership, or if it's a mediumship reading, either way this card means soulmate. So it would be that on the other side, the person coming through was your soulmate in this life and is your soulmate, and that's how you would read that. You can pick through colors or anything else you're drawn to in the card, but generally speaking, this card means soulmate. It's somebody that you're very connected to. Over here, it says it could be memory loss, or it could be if you feel very lost without this person. So as a medium read, the message would be here that this is very new for you. You haven't dealt with grief or losing someone before. The person that you're lost is a soulmate relationship to you, and it's somebody that you feel very lost without in this life. Now, also, I would say if I was reading this in a medium way, I would say that soulmates are not just romantic partners. Soulmates can be people that we come into this life with to do a mission, or that's part of our soul group. So that could be, your parents or your children, or it could be a best friend. It's soulmates in your soul group is not just romantic partners. So therefore, I would say that this person has left a big hole in your heart because you're lost without them. They're part of your soul group, someone that you're very connected to, that you feel lost without, and that this is your first experience with grief. Let's shuffle the second one. Let's lay the second one, and so you shuffle your cards and pick your next 3 cards if you're following along with your cards, and we're going to read them in a sentence. So first of all, you'll read the top line, work it out, communication and strength. So putting these 3 into a sentence, we're looking at a relationship that needs to communicate a lot more. They need to work together to fix the problems that they're having within their relationship. They're saying also that they need to be strong in this situation, that they're coming, perhaps it could be that they're coming from a strong relationship that is suffering from other teething problems, growing problems, or some kind of communication issues. But it's saying that to strengthen your relationship, because we're bringing back in the strength card here, we're not reading in a line past, present, future. Now you can if you want to. I prefer not to. I prefer to have the freedom to be intuitive and bounce around to where I feel drawn to read. But if you want to read past, present, future, many psychics do, you would say, okay, in the past there was a sense of work. You had to work on this situation. You had to work on this relationship. In the present, it's about communicating. You're needing to work on your communication. In the future, it's going to show a strong relationship. So you can read like that. But for me, it feels lacking. It feels like, okay, well, I prefer to read them together, jumping around, than reading past, present, and future, because I feel that working something out in the future does involve communication. So those two, so working it out in the past, being a past card, and this a present card, well, working it out would have had to involve some kind of communication. So to me, that's telling me those two cards are together anyway. They're not, it doesn't give me a sense of past, present, future. And that's why I never read past, present, future. I get a stronger sense from reading how the cards are in a story. So instead of saying, okay, in the past, you had to work it out. In the present, you have to communicate. In the future, you're going to have a strong relationship. I would say that you need to communicate more in your relationship to build a stronger relationship, to be able to work out anything you're going through. So being able to work out what you're going through is going to involve having a better sense of communication within your relationship. And that's going to give you a stronger relationship by building a stronger communication with each other. So you can see how I read in a sentence. It gives it a little bit more meat than reading past, present, future. And that's why I prefer to read that way. But you read any way you like, because there is no rules. It's all intuition, and there is no rules with intuition. We're not working with our left brain logic. We're working with our creative right brain, and the right brain loves to be free and not bound by restrictions and not bound by boundaries or rules. So your right brain likes to be free to express itself any way it feels like it needs to. And that's why I like to read in a very free way, how I'm drawn to read. So directed to read in a creative kind of right brain freedom type way. That's why I read that way. I don't put my rules on myself when I'm reading. Okay, next read. So shuffle your cards again, draw 3 or fan them, draw out 3 or whatever 3 sticking out the most you can read. Lay your cards out and put them in a sentence. So first of all, you'll read across all the cards, and it says protector, thoughtful, in shock. Now, then you'll sit and you'll look at the cards. You'll tap into your body, which I'm not doing today because I have a headache. So you're going to tap into your body and feel like what you're feeling. Now, normally I would say when you're reading, if you're all of a sudden start to feel a headache or you start to feel sick, that message is for the person you're reading for. But I've come in with a headache, so I just have a headache today, but I only have one day to read. So this is the day it is. Okay, now it's saying here, you can be drawn by the images. Okay, what are we looking at? We're looking at flowers here, flowers here, flowers here. There's lots of flowers in this reading. You could be drawn to say, okay, I can see you out in a garden. I can see you planting flowers. I can see you being given flowers. But or you have a love of beauty or wanting to beautify your home and your surroundings with beauty, because flowers are very beautiful and they freshen up an area and make it feel fragrant as well. I'm feeling fragrance. So you could be, adding fragrance into your home, whether that's oils or just making it feel more sensual or more harmonious. There could be a sense of adding, because I'm using I'm using the flowers from what I've seen here and drawn to, and that's bringing me back to the feeling of the smell of flowers. So that's making me think that you need to add oils into your home or around yourself and add, beauty and luxury and through the sense of smell. So that's what I would read in one way. That's just another in-depth way of reading these cards. So drawn to certain aspects of these cards. How do these 3 cards connect to each other? Well, they connect because they're all flowers. And then I would tap into, okay, what does flowers mean? What's the sense that I'm getting from that? So you're always questioning and you're always tapping into, how does my body feel? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? I'm not just looking at the pictures on the card, which I was in this situation. I'm also tapping into, okay, how do it make me feel? What is the message from flowers? What are you trying to say? And then I'm drawn to the smell. I got the smell of the flowers, and that made me think, okay, well, smell. You're around flowers, or you need to bring that sense of that smell and that fragrant air into your home. So that's just another way of reading and your way of connecting into these cards. So you're putting together what connects and what joins these cards together. Now, with this particular spread, I wasn't inclined to go straight to the words and connecting the words. My thought was connect the pictures. I wanted to connect the pictures in this spread. In the other two spreads, I've connected the words and put them into a story. In this spread, I've gone straight to the pictures and I've looked at how these pictures connect and mean something and what that means to me and the feeling that I got from the connections that I've made. Now, if I was to look at this card, I'm getting, if you're looking at it from a medium way, you're saying that some person that's passed over was a male energy protector, somebody, it could be a father figure because they're a protector, it could be a husband that was very protective, past of head injuries, because it tells you on the bottom line what the medium part of the read is that you're tapping into. Here we're seeing it could be female energy. If you're more drawn to say female energy than male energy, you can, it's what you are drawn to say. Now, I would say that this person passed unexpectedly. Head trauma is what I'm getting, and I am feeling it is more male energy because I'm more drawn to this card, and I'm feeling the energy here. It's a male that has passed due to some kind of either head injury or something that's gone inside of his head. That could be a stroke, an aneurysm, a blood clot, something going on with, and funny because I have a headache, something going on inside of his head or side of his brain, and that's how the passing has happened, and it's happened very quickly and unexpected. So it doesn't appear to be like a cancer that was you're fighting it and it was progressive, unless it was one that was discovered late and it happened quite quickly after the diagnosis. That's what I'm getting here with this medium read. So you don't need to read the mats here. You can tap into your own senses and feel, is this male or female? Later on, we will get a sense of, we'll learn to use our vision and we'll look into the room, because that's how when I read mediumships, I work with my doorkeeper and I see him standing at the door, bringing through people for me. And I can usually see who's in the little room and who steps forward to the doorway to communicate. And then I can describe them. I can describe their personality and what it is they're doing as they're speaking to me. But we can work with that as we're doing more and more of these medium reads. But for now, the sense that I'm getting from this, I'm not actually getting that it's a relationship read at all. I'm getting it's a sense that you need to bring it more perfume or more essential oils into your life, and really for whatever it is that you need, whether it's to be more sensual or to be more harmonious, you're needing to bring in some senses to help you with whatever it is that you need to do. As a medium read, it's a message from a person that's popping in from the other side that was either a guardian to you or a protector of you. So a relationship that was very protective of you. That's why I'm feeling male energy, or perhaps it was just a guardian of you. And they're saying that they passed of head trauma, head injury, or something going on inside of their brain that happened very quickly. So that's my reading for this one. That's how I would put this together. I'm not getting a sense that this is a relationship read, so I'm not reading it as a relationship read because I don't feel drawn to do that. So that's the thing with your readings. You go by what your instincts are and what you feel the reading is all about. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you again next week for your little mini tutorials on reading the connections deck.